Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of the York City Planning Commission to order. May we have a roll call?
Johnson.
Here.
Velez.
Here.
Burgos is excused. Davis.
Here.
Wolf.
Here.
Gaines.
Here.
It's noted that we have a quorum. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes from the previous meeting? Are there any changes? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept?
I make a motion to accept the April Planning Commission minutes.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Johnson.
Aye.
Velez.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye.
Gaines.
Aye.
Everybody received their emailed zoning hearing board report? Any questions? Any unfinished business? Under new business, Jessica is up. An executive summary of the comprehensive plan.
Well, I have the entire comprehensive plan plus the executive summary, which I'll review with you because it's much shorter than the entire plan. And then the Planning Commission can review this document. And then there are spares. So what's first in this document is the executive summary, which outlines the process that was followed to develop the comprehensive plan, which was a bit abnormal because we were separated by a pandemic and staffing changes. So what C.S. Davidson did, to the best of their ability, was to pick up where staff left off so there wasn't any waste in effort and time. So we used the same goals that were developed by staff and vetted by the public. Each one of those goals is represented by a chapter in this plan. Those goals, you can see them on page 4 of the executive summary. So they include, and each one of those goals is a chapter. Chapter 1 starts with challenging York's reputation and moves on to improving property conditions, making homelessness brief, rare, and non-recurring, increasing access to health services, eliminating food insecurity, building wealth within neighborhoods, building socially cohesive neighborhoods, creating a supportive transportation system, and reducing our carbon footprint and greenhouse gases. So each chapter breaks out the different objectives that form up those goals or themes of this plan. And then what C.S. Davidson did was sort of fill in the gaps of those analyses. So we provided current data, pretty much a baseline of metrics, so that there is a reason that is evident to any person who reads this plan why those strategies were identified as being important. So all of the chapters start out with a brief introduction of the problem statement, such as challenging York's reputation as an unsafe place. Then it breaks out the different objectives that fall under that category. One is relative to community policing and stewardship. The other is related to branding and marketing. And then within each one of those separate chapters, there are either baseline data metrics provided or sort of a baseline of process of what other municipalities do, just so that the reader has an understanding of where we're starting from. Once we get through that conversation, then we get into identifying, where did these ideas come from? So it was, what did we hear in our public outreach? What did the vision or success look like based on that public outreach? And then we move into the tiered strategies for how to accomplish this vision and these goals. The strategies are tiered, tier 1 through tier 3. Tier 1 are low-hanging fruit, high priority, suggestions, and they move on to tier 2 or tier 3. Tier 2 is maybe a middle level priority. It could be very much a priority, but maybe it needs to have a secondary or an initial step in order to move on to the second tier. And then third tier strategies are usually something that's a little bit lower level in priority or lower on the feasibility side, at least at this point. So the way that we're sort of flexible in how we see this process moving forward. Clearly, this is Planning Commission's document. So the Planning Commission has to be comfortable with what is being proposed in this document. My vision is that we'll probably meet 2 more times after this evening, once the Planning Commission has had a chance to digest the document. Next, at the June meeting, we can discuss changes, questions, concerns, provide an update, and then sort of move on. The goal is to get this document in front of City Council with Planning Commission stamp of approval so that then we can move forward and send this document to the County Planning Commission for their mandated review of it and then work towards adoption. Couple of things I'd say. Any of the recommendations in the document are absolutely open for discussion. There is no emotion tied to anything. This is literally just CSD's best planning advice. You're not meant to like it 100%. So obviously, this is meant to be a conversation back and forth. There may be things in this plan that the Planning Commission is questioning, doesn't understand, or just flat out doesn't want to do. That's okay. That's part of this dialogue. Do you guys have any questions at the moment?
Where along that timeline do you see us having a public hearing on this?
The public hearing will happen once the City Council has provided us with the go-ahead to send it to the County Planning Commission.
What about a public hearing by the commission?
If you guys want to have a public hearing, that's absolutely something we can do.
Well, we've discussed it before, that's all I'm asking. We should have one. If I remember correctly, the previous time we did this, we had 2 or 3 at least.
Well, also consider that this process has had dual sets of community meetings throughout the city, where the whole plan wasn't presented, but that is how these chapters were pulled together. So if I were to do, I would almost do an open house and have people come in and take a look at the finished document.
Well, the only problem I have with the public hearings that were held before, or the public input, was the time of day, and a lot of times, actually, the staff outnumbered participants.
I would imagine this would be a nighttime.
I would, yes.
I mean, all comprehensive plan meetings usually take place in the evening so we can get resident feedback.
But we should have an opportunity to hear any input that the community has.
Yes, and I think that is built in, but we can also add to it. It depends on what the Planning Commission would like to do. Like I said, we are not set. I would imagine the Planning Commission would want to have several reviews under their belt and know that they've got a 99% document before we schedule those meetings. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we are open to getting those meetings scheduled before it goes to city councils in order to provide feedback. It just depends on how long it takes Planning Commission, how long it takes the Planning Commission to be comfortable with the document.
What was your timeline for presenting it to council and then county?
I don't have one.
Okay, good. I just wondered. I was wondering if we were going to see the whole document.
It is the entire document.
Yeah, I know. But my agenda said, the executive summary.
I know.
So thank you. Anything from any other commissioner? Anyone would like to address what you've heard? Then we move on to the residential redevelopment overlay.
Yep, and just a really brief update. Council has pushed the redevelopment overlay back into committee meeting. So nothing is going anywhere quickly, which is not a positive or negative. What we are going to be doing next is scheduling public meetings to review the document outside of council chambers. So I just wanted to provide a brief update on where that legislation stands.
Are the public meetings prior to the committee meeting or?
The committee, so the document is going to sit in committee until after those meetings are held, so that way public input can also be considered.
I wondered, because I understood it was going into committee meeting in June.
It was in committee meeting in April
April?
and May, I think.
No, but I heard a June date, that's why I'm asking.
I have no idea about a June date.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
All right, yeah, thank you, guys. Have a great evening.
Case 19-2024-Z-SE-V, 436 Linden Avenue has been held over till next month. Case 2024 Z-SE-V, 476 West Market. First, we'll hear from staff, and then we'll ask the applicant to step forward.
Applicant is Raphael Falcon, 2201 Lidditz Pike, Lancaster, PA, 17601. Owner is Leon O. Zuckerman, 466 West Market Street, York, PA, 17401. Zoning district, UN2 Urban Residential Neighborhood District. The summary: applicant would like to convert a single-family dwelling into a two-unit multifamily dwelling. Variance appeal 1, the applicant seeks a definition variance since the proposed use does not meet the ordinance requirements of conversion from industrial, institutional, or commercial. The property is a single-family home. Staff have reviewed the variance provision in 1311.10.d. Therefore, staff recommend denial of a definition variance to allow 2 units for the property at 476 West Market Street. Variance appeal 2, the applicant seeks a variance to the special exception condition that the property has not been vacant for 2 years. Section 1311.11, subsection C. Therefore, staff recommend approval of a variance to the special exception condition of the property being vacant for 2 years for the property at 476 West Market Street. Special exception 1, use. The zoning ordinance permits multifamily conversion from a different use by special exception in the zoning district in section 1304.1.1.02.002. Staff have reviewed the special exception provision for this property. Therefore, staff recommend approval of the request for a special exception to allow multifamily dwelling at 476 West Market Street, pending all variances are approved.
I just want to be clear, it's 476, not 466, right?
Yes.
It says 466.
That's where the owner lives.
Could you step forward and provide your name for the record, please? Over there.
My name is Jay Cedino.
And can you give us a little more detail on what you're doing here?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, my name is Jay Cedino, and I represent my client, Raphael Falcon. I work for Manor West Realty. I'm a real estate agent. And we're here in front of you today because we would like to convert 476 West Market Street from a single-family dwelling to a multi-unit, like 2 apartments.
Is it currently a single-family home?
It's currently a single-family house. What caught our attention was that the actual property was advertised and listed in the MLS system as a potential commercial or multi-unit. We thought it was already ready, and then after finding out, they said it's actually not registered as a multi-unit, but it's just a small change to do. You just have to go through the city council because it's actually not the way it's registered at the moment. But I believe the residency has like potential to be converted, and it checks a lot of the boxes that you guys may require to allow this.
I noticed it has 2 separate meters. Are all utilities in gas or electric or whatever divided?
Yes, and what the actual owner is telling us is that before, like 2 years ago, it used to be like a doctor's office, and I guess they have the 2 levels divided. Like they have the 2 boxes, the electrical boxes. They have 2 for one floor, each for each floor, and then they also have the meters for each of the floors as well, already set up. Is it okay if I walk you through a little bit about what? Okay, perfect. I wasn't sure. So I don't know if you see in the pictures that I have for you guys. I have a picture of what the house looks like now, and then what we would like the house to look like with the division of the two entrances. It is a picture that have two doors in the entrance. One to the right will go straight to the second floor, and the other one on the left will go straight to the first floor. The property is a little over 3,000 square footage total, so it will be. They have similar square footage on each of the levels, and each of the floors has two exits, like have the entrance, and then it have a back door, and then the upper floor has the same thing. It has the entrance to the front, and then another exit from the top level that goes down the stairs to the patio. So we'll have two exits, and we're looking for 2 bedrooms, 1 bath for each of the units.
In one of your photos, is this the 2 doors?
Yes.
On the interior, they're going to divide them, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And then in the back, you could see that it has 12 parking space.
It has how many? I'm sorry.
The parking lot has 12 parking spaces in the back.
And you're only doing 2 units, correct?
Just 2 units, that is correct.
Are they divided first floor and then the second, third are combined?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any questions from the commissioner?
So to clarify, I keep rolling through to try and find this quote. The application says the property was previously zoned as a 2-unit dwelling. That is correct or incorrect? Okay. And this is another example of a seller just being able to label a house whatever they want and sell it as whatever they want, correct?
In this situation, the first floor used to be commercial, and then I guess when the owner closed down his business, he reverted everything back to single family. And I don't know about how it was listed, but I guess when they called in to do everything, that's when it was sent over to me for them to go through zoning and go through the right process to get everything legally converted into a 2-unit.
Did the current owner submit a letter abandoning the dual use?
I'm not sure about that. I don't even know when that even happened, because the first floor business been closed longer than I've been zoning officer. And when I asked Michelle about it, she said she would get back to me, but she didn't. So all we know is that the owner had converted it back to single family.
How do we list it? How does the city list it?
Well, if it was converted back to single family, this should be as a single family dwelling.
What's the address?
467. I mean 466. 476. 476.
West Market, right?
Yes.
Tell you in a moment. It's not licensed and inspected as anything.
Because it's owner occupied, so it didn't get inspected or anything.
Okay. Any other questions? Would anyone from the public like to address this case? Hearing none, do we have a motion for the variance for definition?
I make a motion to recommend approval of a variance to the definition of multifamily conversion from a different use as defined in section 1304.01-1.02.002A for the property at 476 West Market Street in the UN2 zoning district.
Second?
Motion second, any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Johnson,
Aye.
Velez,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Gaines.
Aye.
Motion's approved. Do we have a motion for the variance to waive the special exception?
I make a motion to recommend approval of a variance to waive the special exception provision that the property must have been vacant for 2 years, found in section 1311.11C1 for the property located at 476 West Market Street in the UN2 zoning district.
Second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Johnson,
Aye.
Velez,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Gaines.
Aye.
Motion's approved. Do we have a motion for the special exception to allow multifamily use?
Make a motion to approve a special exception to allow multifamily use as as defined in section 1304.01-1.02.00247 for, 1304.01-1.02.002 for the property located at 476 West Market Street.
Second.
Motion second. Further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Johnson,
Aye.
Velez,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Gaines.
Motion's approved.
Aye.
Oops, sorry. Motion's approved. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Our next meeting is for zoning hearing board.
Yeah, we already discussed that a little bit earlier, so she has it for a zoning hearing board.
Thank you.
We tabled case 18 last month. Do we need to table it again?
No, so those ones that were tabled for no-shows and that sort of thing, they did go in front of the zoning hearing board. So they are, they don't need to, if they would have not showed up for zoning hearing board, then they could have come back through the whole process. But they don't need they don't need the recommendation from the planning commission if they
So to
didn't show.
clarify, that was the one case that there were a bunch of people here that were upset about it, and then the person didn't show up, and then they did exactly what we assumed they were gonna do, which was
Nah,
to show up.
all the people was here for 560 Atlantic. She showed, and all the people showed too, and they hashed it out actually in front of everybody here. Cause I'm sorry. The neighbors and everything, they knew the applicant and everything. They were real good. They just didn't want it to be a typical rooming house. And since she's only doing it for family members, they was okay with that.
Sure. Did they put the normal stipulations on it? I didn't
Yes.
read that, but I wanted to make sure of that. Okay.
Is there any other business? Anything else from staff? We stand adjourned.